Just want to thank all of you that have taken your time to join us today for this 2009 CAWPCA Spring Workshop. I would also like to thank all our sponsors. That's the main reason why some of this we could enjoy a day like today. And for the first time, I also want to give thanks to the exhibitors. This is the first time we actually have our exhibitors here. We have Duke's Roots Control. We have M.A. Selman Company, Savvy and Sons, and Green Mountain Pipeline. So during the break, please stop by and talk to them. I also want to recognize the CAWPCA board members that are here, and specifically a special thanks to the committee that actually put this workshop together and all the presentations that you're going to see today. It would have been possible unless they assisted in putting this together, so I appreciate their efforts in putting the presentation, and we hope that you find these presentations informative and also interesting. For the first time in this workshop, we're also going to be able to, those operators who are going to be able to receive continuing education credits. I see that many of you already signed up for that, but if you haven't signed up, please sign up with Bridget in the front there, and you'll receive a certificate with the number of hours that you spent in this workshop. I also wanted to let you know that we continue to collaborate with the Connecticut Water Pollution Abatement Association, and Ray Weaver is somewhere around. There he goes. And in that effort, we have a legislative committee that has been involved with Melissa Biggs, who's also going to present to us and give us an update later on. But with that, we actually have scheduled a legislative reception on May 14th between 12 and 2 p.m. at the Capitol in room 310. So we plan to provide snacks, and we estimate that it's going to be approximately 30 clean water professionals that will attend, and those that are here that would like to get involved, please, mark that day, May 14th. And like I indicated, Melissa will provide us an update on the legislative work that we're doing between both organizations, and to continue monitor and submit testimony when necessary. We also had a good, very strong presentation at the DC National Water Policy Fly-In this year. It was in coordination with NACWA, WEF, WRF, and UIA. And I actually need to give out some shout outs for those Connecticut representatives that attended and who also scheduled meetings with their Congress person, Sid Holbrook? Okay, Sid, everybody knows. Virgil Lloyd, William Norton, Tom Scroy, Rachel Watson, Michael Head, and Art Simonian. So this year, for the first time, we were able to meet face-to-face with 4 Congress people. It was a good time, and we were able to talk to them. We visited actually every single Connecticut congressman or woman, and we actually have meetings with all of them except for one senator. Although we saw him riding the subway train between the Capitol building and the Senate building, but we didn't want to mention anything. But one thing that we did hear from them, and especially their representatives, is that they want us to follow up. Once we go back to our hometown, they want us to hear from us. They want to hear what interests you, and the reason why we go to the DC is to make sure that we get some of the fundings back. I don't know if you heard in the news, this week was supposed to be infrastructure discussions, but obviously the other report seemed to have gotten the headlines of this week. But nevertheless, I think by hearing from us, I think they know the importance of what we do and what we represent. So one of the things is that they do wants to hear from us when we go back to our hometown, to our district. They want to hear people from their district. They also want to know how this Water Week and what we're requesting them, how that affects each of the community and their constituent. And actually, I was fortunate to meet my congresswoman on April 24th when she had a congressional update in my hometown. And for Virgil, I actually have a picture to prove that. I know Virgil wanted to have a picture with her, but so I was also fortunate to participate this year as a judge in the Connecticut 2009 Stockholm Junior Water Prize Award. Although it obviously took some time during my Eastern weekend, but I think it was a worthwhile. And I'm happy to announce that the Connecticut state winners are Brooks Ferguson, Colleen Moshine from Brunswick School in Greenwich, Connecticut, and for their project titled Development on an Algae-Based Buffer System to Mitigate Excess Nitrogen and Acidification in Marine Environments. And we give them good luck for both of them to go to the national competition in Columbus, Ohio. On Monday, also on the 29th, we had a conference call with NUIA and all the state associations directors from Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont to discuss some of the following topics: clean water SRF program, changes to the permitting of industrial users. We also talk about the association name changes. There are some associations that are changing the word pollution to clean water, and something that we're also discussing. We also had discussions on government relations and public awareness. We're going to still have ongoing discussions on this on the next NUIA Spring Conference meeting, which is scheduled to be in New Hampshire between June 2nd and the 5th. I also would like to, at this time, ask Brian Armett to come up and present the Presidential Excellence Award to Andrew Lohr. Andrew is one of the founders of the association, and I would like to thank for his service and being recognized today for his outstanding service.
Andrew has a long history of working in the environmental, wastewater, and related fields. Not as long as some of us. I think he's got a couple of years less than I do, but more than most of you here. He's lived his entire life in Connecticut, except for the 4 years that he spent at the University of Maine at Mathis, and he has lived in East Haddam for 36 of those 85 years. Next year. He started off his environmental career at the University of Maine at Mathis, Maine. He received an undergraduate degree in biotechnology and his law degree from UConn Law School in 1966. Oh, yeah, excuse me. I'm precocious. He has spent his entire career focused on the environmental related issues, starting off working for the state of Maine Department of Fisheries and Wildlife, the United States Forest Service doing gypsy moth research, and then on to TRC as an environmental chemist, followed by Haley and Aldrich as an environmental scientist. While at Haley and Aldrich, he attended UConn Law School, and upon graduation from UConn Law School in 1996, he landed a job with North Carolina environmental attorney as an environmental attorney. He no longer works for North Carolina. He worked for North Carolina for 20 years, and upon his retirement from North Carolina, he went out as a practicing private attorney, serving WPCAs and other related environmental pursuits. While at North Carolina, that was when North Carolina and a number of WPCAs recognized the need for an agency or a group such as the CAWPCA, which is now the Connecticut Water Pollution Abatement Association, and all those others that represent significant entities in Connecticut, that there was a need for this type of organization. So along with Mike Siska and others, he worked with North Carolina in developing the groundwork and the bylaws and that for the CAWPCA, which was created in July 10th, 2003. Prior to that, he moved to East Haddam, and in 1992, he was appointed to the East Haddam Water Pollution Control Authority, and he has been on the East Haddam Water Pollution Control Authority for over 27 years, 20 years as a chairman. Recognizing all this activity that he's done over the years, serving us and serving related entities, and his involvement in the industry, we are pleased to give him this President's Excellence Award for his service to us, for the formation of our organization, and for serving the environment. Now I'd like to turn the podium over for the rest of the awards to Jen Lockmere, who is the President-elect of NUIA.
As he said, I am the President-elect of NUIA, and we are so proud to be partnered with you guys. You have such a wonderful turnout today. And first, let's get to the awards. As you may know, these important awards were presented at the NUIA Annual Conference this past January, and you have so many recipients. It's wonderful. So let's see if I can do this. The first I have, yep, there we go, is the Alfred Peliquin Award, which went to Mike Bisai. I think if you're the award recipient and you're here, you should stand up when I mention your award. The next is the Operator Award, which went to John Bodie from Fairfield, Connecticut. I would also mention that all the descriptions of the awards, I really wanted to tell you all about the history of them today, but you can read it on the NUIA website. For the Ops Challenge, congratulations on the second place for process control, which went to the Frankenfoggers, New Haven, Connecticut, Greater New Haven Water Pollution Control Team. The Energy Management Achievement Award went to the town of Fairfield, Connecticut. The Paul Coag Award went to Andrew Bramonti from Greenwich, Connecticut. The William D. Hatfield Award went to Francis Russo from Meriden. The Public Educator Award went to Christian Lund of Groton. And then you also had a Stockholm Junior Water Prize winner, Verna Yin from Greenwich. So congratulations to all those award recipients. At NUIA, we're really proud of the work that you do in terms of your public outreach and your government affairs. Those are just two hot topic areas I mentioned because they're my personal platforms and passions for when I'm president of NUIA, and I greatly appreciate all your contributions. You had such a strong showing in Washington, and you really set an example for all of our 6 states. Just a few quick announcements for the CAWPCA. You do have a Poo and Brew coming up on May 17th, and it also is an operator's reception. And then just a reminder that the spring meeting is coming up in June, so you can find more information about the Poo and Brew, the spring meeting, and also the call for papers for the annual conference, which is next January. You can find all these items on the NUIA website. And I would just remind you that the call for papers ends on June 14th. So thank you very much. And with that, we are going to have our special guest speaker, or Dennis is going to announce our special guest speaker.